Hey guys, welcome back to Flatirons Tuning. Okay, I've got a question for you. Let's say I handed you a freshly caged WRX STI to turn into a race car. What is the first thing that you would do? I would bet that, based on our conversations with people and other racers through the years, the first thing you would think of doing is making more power. Maybe you'd look at the racers you wanted to compete in, what you want to build the car for, figure out how much power you have to make to be competitive in the class. That's where you would start. But what if I told you that the one thing you couldn't do, I can still give you the car, you're going to build it into a race car, but the one thing you couldn't do is pull the engine. You could do simple bolt-ons, but you couldn't put in forged pistons, built block, all that sort of stuff. Then where would you start? Or would you even want to start? Is that even interesting? Would you even want to build a race car if you knew that you had to start with a stock engine? Well, that's what we've done with our Pikes Peak car. And the reaction we get, a lot of times, even to this day, when we let people know that in this car, in our race car here, is still a stock Subaru bottom end, stock cylinder heads, D25 cylinder heads, stock cams, valves, the whole 9 yards. And at this point, we're on our fourth engine, but it's a Type Array block, 100% stock. There's a little bit of disbelief there. So I wanted to basically explain why that's how we've progressed with our build. So even though this is a stock short block in the car as it sits, so we've tried on a number of different turbos. We've gone twin scroll, single scroll. Now we finally landed on this Turbodynamics MDX 450, but we've tried a lot of turbos to land at this point. For oiling, we've tried a whole bunch of different things, but we've landed currently at the Roger Clark 4-stage dry sump oiling system, and it's been a game changer. Up front here, lots of changes. Suspension, 2 different sets of coilovers. Started out on the KW variant 3s, now on the Feel 442s. Lots of different suspension components here. We've run WRX knuckles, WiseFab knuckles, now we're running STI knuckles. For brakes, we've gone through 3 different big brake upgrade kits. First was a mild racing brake caliper upgrade, then to the StopTech ST40, and now we're running the massive Roger Clark Alcon 365mm brakes. Back in the rear, basically the same story. We've tried a lot of different lower control arms, brakes, we tried the Subaru 2-pots, and now we're on the rear Brembos. Everything's working well, but we've had to do a lot of work. And come to think of it, all the stuff that we've tried, it's a great reason to reach out to us for a consult for your build. We have a lot of experience, we've tried a lot of stuff, we found a lot of things that work and a lot of things that don't work. So if you set up a consult with us, we'll do our best to help you basically avoid a lot of the mistakes that we made so you can get right to making your car faster. Inside the car, can't forget the drivetrain swap. We've got the STI 6-speed full STI drivetrain with the R180 differential as well. We've also done the Haltech standalone now. So we've got our can pad over here, and there is the Haltech Nexus sit-in shotgun. So at this point, I think I can guess what a lot of you are thinking. Why in the heck would you spend all of that time, energy, and money developing the car and never have gone in and put in a race engine to make the amount of power that you need to make the car competitive in the class that you're running? Well, it turns out there's a good reason for that, and that's actually the reason that I'm making this video. The reason is because we knew at the beginning that there was a lot of stuff that we didn't know. We were going to run into a lot of problems. And of course, we ran into a lot of problems and had issues that we didn't anticipate. Because we were in Pikes Peak, it's a unique race environment. It's high elevation, low air density, cooling is always an issue. We knew we were going to have cooling trouble. And the way that we thought about it at the beginning was, if we can't keep a stock engine with just minor bolt-ons cool on a full run at Pikes Peak, why would we expect that we could keep a 500 or 600 horsepower build cool and reliable for Pikes Peak either? So that's why we started and have done things the way that we have. But beyond that, this also has saved us a lot of money. By staying with the stock engine and not going with the built engine. And remember, we're on our 4th engine now. I'm gonna guess we've probably saved between $30,000 and $40,000 in the development cost in this car. Because you gotta remember, we've gone through engines, we've had some issues, and basically, at each turn, if we had a fully built race engine in the car that we had to either rebuild or replace, it's going to be a lot more expensive than the stock short block, stock cylinder heads that we have in here. And if we're spending all of that budget on putting in a new race engine, it would take away the budget for developing all the other stuff to solve all the problems that we ran into, like the dry sump, the suspension, the brakes. So it could either have cost us a whole lot more money to get the car to the point where it is now, or we would have the power, but we would not have the reliability that we do now, and we would not have the good suspension setup in the car that we do now. So the exciting part is that now we are finally here, and we're ready for the next step. And if you've been following us, you probably realize or probably know that that next step is a sequential transmission. And as a quick footnote, the interesting thing as we get ready to put the sequential in the Pikes Peak car is, it turns out that the engine specs, the engine requirements for a sequential transmission to get the most out of it are a bit different than what they are for an engine that would just be mated to a standard manual transmission like we have. So even if we would have started out with the big power at the beginning, now that we're getting to the point where we're putting a sequential in, there's a reasonable chance that we'd have to change a lot of stuff anyway, which again is another big expense. So to see what the progression is of getting the sequential and transmission, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to our newsletter for updates. And that's where we're going with this car. So hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. Thanks very much for your support as always. You guys supporting the channel, supporting what we do at FlatironsTuning.com, that's what lets us keep coming back and making this content for you. So thank you very much again for that. And until next time, stay tuned with Flatirons Tuning.